Good luck, everyone.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another week of TechRise. I'm Desiree Vargas-Wrigley, our Executive Director. And for those of you new to TechRise by P33 in partnership with Verizon is an initiative that we started earlier this year in April to help support Black and Latinx founders from idea stage to exit. So each week, 3 to 5 founders take the stage and they pitch their businesses to a panel of judges who then ask them some questions and then deliberate live to decide who wins somewhere between $20,000 and $50,000. This week's competition is a seed stage competition, and we have some incredible judges and incredible companies. Some of them you've seen before, some of them are new, but it's also our second to last week of TechRise this year. So it's been an incredible year so far. And just to share some high level numbers, we've had just over 100 founders take the stage. By the end of this year, we will have deployed about $750,000 to those founders. And already the founders who've come on have raised an additional $7.2 million. And prior to being on TechRise, they'd only raised 6.8, so we're off to a great start. We've had some incredible sponsors and supporters throughout the year, and we'll highlight those all next week. But one of them, Starting Line, is going to be here as one of our judges. So I just want to say a special thank you to the VC firms, including Starting Line, that have supported us and supported all the founders here on stage. All right, with that, I'm going to introduce our judges. So first we have Mira Oak. She's a member of the Alumni Ventures investment team, bringing along financial management and operational experience from her time at Yale. So we do share that. And she managed a $1 billion budget of the $4 billion organization. Most recently, Mira worked with early stage venture funds and incubators like Polymath Capital Partners and Create Venture Studio, and was responsible for investment sourcing and diligence across several verticals, including enterprise SaaS, financial services, and consumer products. Mira, it's great to have you. What college were you in? At Yale?
Oh, I worked at Yale, but
sorry.
I was a fellow at Styles. Yeah. So.
Nice, Davenport.
Yeah.
All right, and excuse me for my voice. I know this isn't the normal voice. I don't have COVID. I just lost my voice, and we have 2 tech rises today, so it's going to be an interesting one. All right, Jesus Salas is joining us also as a senior associate at Slauson and Company. Jesus is rooted in the belief that making culturally conscious investments is a path to increasing opportunity and positive economic outcomes for otherwise overlooked communities and founders. Jesus has worked domestically and abroad in a variety of capacities, such as a management consultant, impact investor, and investment banker, with global organizations working across industries ranging from agriculture, education, and financial technologies. So nice to have you, Jesus. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Ezra Galston, founding partner at Starting Line. Ezra founded Starting Line to break all the expectations of what a venture capital fund in the city of Chicago had to look like. Over the past 6 years, he's invested in dozens of extraordinary companies, including Spot Hero, Cameo, M1 Finance, Chowbus, and many more. So lots of unicorns on your portfolio already, Ezra. It's great to be here, to have you here, I mean. And thank you also for investing in me personally. So I love having you here. And then next we have Elaine Russell, who is at Greycroft. She joined in 2019. She's based in LA, and she co-leads Greycroft's Albertson Fund, which is backed by the grocery retailer and focuses on early stage companies in retail and commerce. Prior to Greycroft, Elaine served as a partner at PLG Ventures, a pre-seed family office fund in Los Angeles. And before that, she was a co-founder and CEO of Little Key, which was acquired by Dabble, one of my competitors and now friend. And she previously was in Chicago. And Little Key, like Parachute, is an on-demand platform for parents to discover and book kids' classes and activities. So Elaine, it's so great to have you here. And you have strong Chicago roots too, right? You went to Northwestern, and yeah, so thanks for coming back.
Yeah, business school in Chicago, and actually spent 10 years there. So,
well, we appreciate you coming back virtually at least, and hopefully we'll get you here in person. All right, so with that, we're going to welcome our first founder onto the stage with Event Noir, and we have Jeffrey Osuji from Event Noir. So we're ready when you are.
Everybody's doing great.
Yep. We can see you, and it looks like we're
All
about to
right,
see
you
your
guys
slides.
able to see my screen?
We are. Let's see presenter mode, and then we'll go from there. Perfect. You're ready.
Wonderful. Culture is one of the most powerful forces known to man, and it has the ability to bring people together from different backgrounds and put them in places where they can celebrate their differences and build community. I spent the last 15 years as an event promoter, producing events for people of color. It was extremely frustrating to me that no event ticketing platform spoke my language or to my culture. The entire ticket selling process was impersonal, and there was no connection. I knew the barriers of entry were low for an event platform that could speak to the Black community and create emotional connection with Black event producers and event attendees. Event platforms were also oversaturated, making it easy to create events, but hard to find culture relevant events. Such an event platform would have a huge upside due to the overwhelming influence of Black creators on mainstream culture. In fact, due to the trend-setting power of Black creators, Black is the new green. There were 47 million Black people in the US who spend over $31 billion on events annually. So think twice before underestimating the size of this huge market. My name is Jeff Osuji. I'm the co-founder and CEO of EventWire, where culture and events intersect. We help lovers of Black culture find culturally relevant events and help event organizers sell tickets for their events seamlessly while earning commissions from ticket fees. Our platform enables consumers to find relevant events via event discovery and offers quicker payouts than our competitors. We also have an event organizer check-in app to scan in attendees with a QR code. We capture our piece of this market by collecting a 17% service fee on every paid transaction, and we make money from advertising revenue from brands. For 8 years, I was a national advertising director of a startup that focused on reaching Black consumers, and I helped them generate over $20 million in advertising revenue. I look forward to doing more for EventWire. We also empower creators by sharing a percentage of service fees with them that enables them to scale their businesses. We have an annual goal of reinvesting $1 million back into these Black businesses. The party has started and we have traction. We processed over $2.5 million in tickets via our platform and have amassed over 200,000 registrants. We have also been able to 10x the number of tickets sold on our platform since April. We started in Chicago, my hometown, and we began to build a groundswell. We're able to quickly spread the word of mouth to event creators in over 15 markets. And today we built an ecosystem of over 1,500 event creators who prefer a platform that speaks to their culture. In September, we secured our first festival partnership with the Nobody's Home Music Festival in Benton Harbor, Michigan, headlined by rapper Rick Ross. And this enabled us to amass over 10,000 additional users. We look forward to more partnerships like this. We've been featured in Forbes, Black Enterprise, Billboard, and the #1 hip hop radio show in the country, The Breakfast Club, winning first place in the Mountain Dew Real Change Opportunity Fund competition. We just graduated from Techstars, and this month we look forward to graduating from SAP's Economic Empowerment Program. EventWire leverages consumer data that we collect from ticket attendees to launch a full-blown media company focused on cultural events, brand sponsorships, and data as a service for multicultural marketers. The early success we have had makes us confident that we'll reach profitability by 2023. We are a team of event industry veterans who have over 60 combined years running event companies and managing tech solutions for Fortune 500 companies like PwC and Medtronic. Our vision is to be the global ticketing partner for the diaspora. There are over 1.2 billion people of African descent in the world, and by the year 2050, 25% of the world will be from Africa. We already partnered with event organizers in Nigeria and Ghana in December, and we look forward to providing access to Black culture experiences globally while democratizing brand partnerships. Thank you for tuning into EventWire, where culture and events intersect. Thank you.
Great, and now the judges can come on and ask some questions.
Wonderful.
Ezra, you want to kick us off?
Sure. Congrats on all the traction. My goodness. And I've heard of the business and actually checked out before. It's doing great. So you won a partnership with this festival, the one in Benton Harbor. Can you walk us through a little bit about that process, who you were up against? And I assume that's amazing for you, how you start to scale up larger partnerships a bit more to drive more organic growth into the platform.
Definitely, definitely. One of the things we're doing before we officially launch our seed round is adding to our board. Currently, Kanye West facilitator and manager John Monopoly sits on our advisory board as head of entertainment, and that was actually his festival that he helped host and put together with some partners. So he was pivotal in helping us secure that partnership. Everyone checked in via the Event Noir app, and again allowed us to grow our database. Not only is this an event play, it's also a data play.
Mira, you want to go next?
Yeah, I guess sort of maybe piggybacking on Ezra's question, given the two-sided marketplace here, you're coordinating with event organizers as well as consumers. Where is the tension point? Or where are you finding those tension on which side of the marketplace?
Well, currently, we know that we've been focusing on the supply, which is the event organizers. And for us, we're able to really scale when we're able to really invest in getting more consumers onto our platform, because it's going to add value for our event curators. Thus far, we've been able to rely on the network effects, because for every curator that we recruit, they're able to recruit 300 to 500 consumers. Our strategy is to leverage content, as well as the opportunity to further support curators. We just announced a partnership with Urbane Venture Funds, and we're now going to be able to invest into curators' events in order to help them with financing so that they can scale their businesses. So the biggest, I would say, tension is in us being able to get as many a critical mass of consumers for the event discovery piece. And that's why we're raising a seed round, because as we invest into a mobile app, consumers will now be able to have a user app where they can go from Atlanta, Chicago, and find the most relevant events in their area. And that's really the next iteration. Right now, we have an organizer app, and we're moving forward towards the consumer app, which we believe is really going to take us to scale.
All right, Jesus, you're next.
Awesome, congrats. I'm curious to hear in terms of competition. Obviously, there's the Eventbrites of the world, but especially over the pandemic with moving to virtual conferences and some new players raising massive amounts of money. How are you thinking about differentiation?
Yes, that's an amazing question. We know that Hopin just raised a significant amount of money. For us, our differentiation and really one of our competitive advantages, my ecosystem and knowledge, and really the huge network I have amongst Black creators. We've been going on a dinner tour. We kicked off a 10-city dinner tour to take curators out throughout the country and just strengthen our relationships. For us, it's important that we have virtual integration into our new platform that we're building, so that we can integrate with the Zooms of the world. We can even partner with the Hopins. Again, our competitive advantage is that cultural authenticity, and we believe we can have deeper market penetration amongst Black creators. But it's just as important for us that our functionality and features are on point. Right now, we have most of the features that Eventbrite has, including SMS text messaging, which a lot of the other partners don't have. Because African Americans over-index for mobile usage, it's important for us to have that function. So in order
Okay, one last question real quick from Elaine.
Please.
Yep. I just wanted to understand the 17% transaction fee a little bit further. Who's paying that? And how did you come up with a percentage fee basis?
Great question. So it's actually a percentage fee that we chose that's adjustable. So we have some creators that prefer to have more fees because they make more money from that, and some who want us to lower it. So we can lower it, and we decided because that would allow us to pay for our Stripe fees, which is roughly 3%, as well as allow us to maximize revenue. And so one of the unique things is that we do have is that ability to adjust.
Sorry, I'm going to cut this off. That was great. Thank you so much, Jeff.
Thank you,
Wonderful
everyone.
job.
I appreciate it. Have an amazing day.
And next, we're going to invite Kickstroid on and David Alston.
Hello. Okay. I'm going to share the screen. Let me know. I don't want to share the wrong screen and let you guys see my messenger. So let's make sure this is correct.
It looks good.
That looks good?
Yep.
All right, wonderful. And I already took my inhaler before doing this, so we don't have to worry about
All
that.
right, we're ready to go.
Okay, fantastic. Wait. Okay, coolio.
Okay.
All right, ready to go.
Go for it.
All right. Sneakerheads are some of the smartest people in the entire world. They can build bots that buy hundreds of shoes in a matter of seconds and have created a resale market that has totaled over $6 billion in 2019 alone. Why have they never applied that same intellect to make everything else in sneaker culture smarter? 2 years ago, my co-founder and I realized that while the ecosystem for actually buying a sneaker was cutting edge, the process of deciding what sneakers you're going to buy was dumb as a doorknob. Because in a world where we can buy software and build software that buys things automatically for us, why are we buying those things and buying those sneakers based on hunches? That's where we come in. There we go. Cage Droid's the smartest sneaker app ever. We take the culture, quantify it and break it down, and use that to help sneakerheads understand where the culture is, where it's going, and what they want to do next. We work in phase 2 of what we call the sneaker life cycle, which is the process that every sneaker goes through before, during, and after release. Phase 2 is the stage where a shoe is confirmed, a release date is set, and the culture decides what they want to do with it. This is the most important phase because it is what drives decision-making in sneakers. And to improve this, we use machine learning. And I want to emphasize that all 3 things I'm about to say are real, we have built, and are in the app that you can download today. This is no BS, because a lot of people think it's BS. First of all, price prediction. We use tabular regression to build things that can predict the price of a resale before the shoe actually drops. 2, detection. We take a picture, we find the shoe in the picture and break it down on attributes such as high top or low top, and then use that to build user profiles. And then 3rd, metrics. We build recommendation ratings based on user profiles to help you understand more about the culture and your place in it. Over the last year, we built a really strong infrastructure for getting out to our target market of sneakerheads between the ages of 16 and 25. We've primarily done so through strategic partnerships with micro-influencers in the sneaker community. Along with that, we've had fantastic ads with people like Snap with rates of about 4% in terms of conversion. With 2,000 users and a DAU time of about 5 minutes, the numbers will only get better. As we continue revolutionizing phase 2 of the sneaker lifecycle, we're also looking to use some of these tools we've built to help create new paths to actually purchasing sneakers. We plan to make money through affiliate partnerships that take our recommendation and prediction software and link them to places to allow sneakerheads to actually buy the sneakers in new ways. Over the last year, my co-founder Nico and I have been doing fantastic work and working our butts off to make this the best app ever. But we haven't been alone. We've had a fantastic partner in Apple. Over the last year, Apple has worked with us very closely to help make our vision a reality. The relationship began when we were accepted into Apple's entrepreneurship camp for Black founders, which only 13 companies in the world were accepted into. Since then, our relationship with Apple has continued growing, with them giving us unprecedented membership, mentorship, in machine learning, design, and unbelievable marketing. With our most recent update getting a major article from Input Magazine and a feature on Apple's home website. As the app continues to get better and smarter, Apple will be right there with us along the way. We have 3 core next steps that we're intending to allocate all of our future resources to. First is ML development. We've been able to really maximize what's available in terms of low-cost machine learning creation, but we want to use services like Roblox, which cost about $1,000 a year. Next, evangelizing. We really love our partnerships with influencers and we want to strengthen them, but influencers love their money, and so we're going to have to come to the table with more. Third, databases. As our technical offerings continue to grow, the amount of storage that they require will also grow, and databases are not cheap. Kickstarter has accomplished a lot in a very short time, and we've only scratched the surface. As we continue developing our product, we won't just help others find their favorite sneakers, we'll also help spread a mantra that we've always believed, that with the right tools, anybody can become a sneakerhead. And with that, we invite everybody to join the community and become a sneakerhead themselves by downloading the app on the App Store today.
All right, thanks. Let's bring the judges on for some questions. Mira, can you start?
Yeah, great. Thanks so much, David. Would love to hear a bit more about the customer archetype here. You mentioned 16 to 25 and just the total market opportunity in the space.
Yeah, for sure. No, so our target market, our primary core user, we actually named them TikTok Timmy, right? So primarily Gen Z, 16 to 25-year-old sneakerhead with a lot of either income or their parents' income that they can spend on a lot of sneakers. We find that those are the kinds of users who don't just think about sneakers as let me buy the cheapest one that I can buy, but let me think about this as an asset itself, one that's an actually appreciating asset like a stock. And we build tools to help them because they're actually becoming the most prominent sneakerhead in the world. In 10 years, they're going to be what all sneakerheads are essentially. So getting them early because they're the ones spending every single Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on the sneakers app, on the Off-White website like there were this morning probably, getting these sneakers and then trying to sell them for 10 times whatever it is. We want to be the tool for them.
All right, Jesus. Wait, next question, Jesus.
Yeah, thank you. Curious in terms of long-term vision, obviously there's some competitors in this space and collectibles in general are moving up, cards, et cetera. So I'm curious, is your target vision to be only shoes or expand outside eventually?
Well, if you look at what the sneaker market is itself, we talked about $6 billion in 2019, which also kind of answers the last question that I wasn't able to get to. But in terms of just how the resale market is growing just for sneakers, it's blowing up in a way where people think, I think it's $90 billion by 2030. So the sneaker market itself and the sneaker resale market itself is already pretty massive. Could we turn some of these features and kind of broaden them out for other forms of fashion or clothing? Absolutely. That detection, which is something we're very proud of, the fact that we were able to build that. It's very possible for that to detect other things and use that and then, build the same types of user profiles for, how someone thinks generally about fashion, what their traits are, and build things and recommend things based on that. But for the short term, at least, we're focused on sneakers because that itself is a very lucrative market.
All right, Elaine.
Yeah, so you talked about affiliate fees being one of your revenue channels. Trying to understand kind of who your partners would be on the other side. Are you trying to push out to buy at a GOAT or a StockX, or are you looking to make direct brand relationships?
It would be a GOAT or a StockX, which companies like StockX have really good affiliate programs. I think it's for new users or new consumers, it's 4%. For returning ones, it's 2%. When it comes to buying sneakers, it's actually kind of anything that sells you the ability to buy a shoe retail on the day of release. It's usually a pipe dream. It's usually fiction in terms of increasing your chances of actually getting those types of things. Directing people to actually resale and finding the best routes to resale and the cheapest routes to resale and the most efficient and smartest purchases based on that is a much more scalable approach.
Okay, very quick last one from you, Ezra.
Yeah, I am your core customer. I'm sitting here in my AJ's. So can you walk us through, I'm trying to understand the pain point better. My understanding is that the pain has always been around access, but you're telling me the pain's around pricing. So can you walk me through
I'm going to tell you, I'll tell you this, and this is something where a lot of people think of pain point in
20 seconds.
Access in terms of getting the shoe, access in terms of resources. It's actually knowledge. A lot of people don't know that they're sneakerheads. So many people are actually afraid of joining the culture because of this. And a lot of people are making bad decisions in the culture because they don't have these types of tools. You know it, I know it. A lot of people tried to buy the Off-White this morning because they had a hunch the resale was going to be high. They had no way of actually knowing.
Okay, I got to cut us off. Great job, David. Appreciate it. And lively conversation, which is great. Okay, so next we have the Studia app. And we have Sebastian Ramirez. I'm sorry.
Don't worry. No.
Great to see you. And we can see your presentation and we're ready to go when you are.
Okay, thank you. So thanks so much. So my name is Sebastian, and today I'm going to be talking to you about Studia, a new website revolutionizing science education. When I was a student, and then when I became a TA and then a physics teacher, I realized that there was a big problem with STEM education. Namely, textbooks or online resources usually skip a lot of important steps in their explanations, so the student can find the answer, but they struggle a lot trying to understand how to move from point A of the solution to the final part of the solution. So this frustration means that the students cannot really prepare very well for their exams. And this problem, together with the growing demand for individualized learning experiences that we have seen in the last years, think of Duolingo for languages, these two things together led us to develop Studia, a new website with high quality explanations of step-by-step problems with a lot of interactive features and simulations and videos and so on. But very important too, it is available in both English and Spanish. And this is not just because in the US, there is a substantial Hispanic population. 25% of the students right now in college are Latino students, but because in Latin America itself, students struggle a lot trying to find EdTech resources. They're usually in English. Sometimes they can find translations that are very outdated from 10 years ago. And the student just have to work with that because there is nothing available, updated translations, so to speak. And this is why we wanted to do Studia at the beginning, in English and Spanish, because we want to bring high quality education at the very beginning to Latin America and the US together. I think the best way to explain how Studia works is to give you a very quick demo. So I have here the website. So the student chooses the topic, say forces, and this opens all the topics, all the problems on the topic of force. And so say the student wants to practice with this problem, to give just an example, then the student tries to solve the problem themselves, but if they get stuck, they can see hints or short solutions, but very importantly, they can also see a very detailed solution that walks the student through every single step of the explanation. And that way we make sure we're closing gaps in the student understanding. And then at the end, they can click here and they will be able to see what they understood and what they didn't understand. And if they click here, they can see everything again, but in Spanish. Yeah, so let me just put again here, big screen. So right now we are very excited to say that 4 schools paid to use Studia this academic year, and this includes the best university in Canada, which is the University of Toronto, and 2 top high schools in Colombia. And we are already seeing an increase in performance between those students using Studia and the students that use the textbook or other online resources. I'm happy to talk about this during the Q&A in more detail. We have a strong team with 3 PhDs and a good number of external advisors with a lot of experience in the tech market. The total addressable market for Latin America is $1 billion. For the US is $1.4 billion. Our business model is a license model where we sell licenses directly to schools. But if a school doesn't get Studia, the student can still get access and they can pay a monthly subscription without depending on the school getting Studia. The main resources out there, as I said before, they have a lot of explanations and examples, but they don't have detailed explanations, and they are not bilingual except for Khan Academy. So far, we were able to create all the content for Physics 1 and Physics 2, and in Spanish and English, and we did all of that with just 30K that were obtained from winning 2 startup competitions. Right now, with 50K, we would split that between sales and between content acquisitions, because most schools told us that they want to use Studia, but because we only have physics, they said, if you add calculus, we for sure buy it. And then on the student side, we need to invest more on marketing because exams are coming and the SATs is coming. And this is the great moment to do more online advertisement. And based on the customer acquisition cost, we expect to get from 25K in marketing around 1,000 students and then break even.
Sorry,
yeah, thanks. And
sorry, I meant to cut you off earlier. Okay,
yeah.
Judges, come on, please. Sorry about that. Jesus, can you kick us off with a question?
Yeah, certainly. Can you speak to any type of efficacy studies or information, basically how better is what you're offering in terms of helping students learn versus what's currently offered?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, sorry. I mean, there's a couple of things about this. First, there is this preliminary assessment that we did with the students in Toronto, and we compare how they were doing in the midterm, the ones that were using Studia versus the ones that were not using Studia, and we saw a 10% increase in their performance. So that I guess answered your question. That's the study.
All right, Elaine, let's go next.
Yeah, so you started to answer this at the very end, but I was curious about your vertical approach versus being more horizontal and covering potentially all the subjects for a specific maybe age group or something like that. How do you see your future roadmap, being verticalized and specialized in science or physics versus being horizontal across all subjects?
Yeah, so we started with physics because that's what our expertise. And this was, once we show it was successful, now we are getting funds to try to add more subjects like calculus 1, pre-calc. And we have already a plan to do that. Now we want to eventually get all the humanities. I am also a philosopher, so we also want to add philosophy and literature and history. But we want to start with STEM and science because that's our expertise, and we want to show that the model works in that area before going wider. And also we want to go to lower years in school and upper years in the university level. That's also part of the plan to expand in that direction.
All right, Ezra, you're next.
So this is cool. Can you help me understand a little bit better? There are an enormous number of educational resources out there. The bilingual angle is interesting to me, but for instance, there's a lot of great AP resources out there. Like, what are you doing that's 10x better than what exists today besides the bilingual aspect, or is that enough?
Great question. Well, we think the bilingual aspect is very important for Latin America. Now, if you want to focus on the US in particular, another important differentiator is that these resources usually don't allow the teacher to see what their students are doing. Whereas our thing is not only for students, but for teachers. So here, just to show you, the teachers will be able to get like a comprehension, like a comprehensive analysis of where their students are doing better or worse. So it's in a way, it's like a Khan Academy combined with teacher capabilities and with simulations. So we try to integrate the teacher and the student's perspective as well.
All right, Mira.
Yeah, great. Would love to hear a bit more about sort of the timeline for establishing pilots and partnerships with universities and established education systems. How scalable do you think that is? How time intensive was it?
Yeah, so it was, yeah, as you know, the EdTech market, I mean, the problem is that there's a lot of bureaucracy and all of that. So we managed, because we were grad students, we managed to find a network of TAs and teachers and professors and say, look, you can use Studia for free. That was last year. And then some of them said, okay, we are willing to pay. And so those are the schools that are using it right now. Once we finish these studies, it's going to be easier for us to reach to our schools and say, look, students using this really improve their performance in physics. So that would give us leverage. So we are waiting to get more data and more analysis, more data to back up the effectiveness of using Studia, and then expand.
All right, cutting us off now. So sorry. Don't worry, everyone. I've only given each person 10 extra seconds. So even though it feels different, but a great job, Sebastian. Next, we're going to welcome Sarah Ford on with Woke Chicago.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for having me while I share my screen. Awesome.
All right, we can see it.
Beautiful. All right. Thanks, everyone. So I'm Sarah Ford. I'm founder, executive director of Woke Chicago. And Woke Chicago, we are a social impact organization creating access to trauma-informed movement and mindfulness instruction in Chicago public schools. So this effort started during the pandemic with a group of wellness instructors, yoga teachers, and myself who were feeling a lot of anxiety, just a lot of pressure from the pandemic. So we got together, and this beautiful awakening has happened in Chicago that I'm excited to tell you guys about. A couple of things that really you should know about our work is the pandemic. When we look at anxiety, depression, and also caregivers in Black communities, we know that BIPOC students, they're not seeing the same rewards, or they're not seeing the same advantages as other students. So our program really focuses on the opportunity areas in Chicago, specifically the North Lawndale area and also the South Side area. How we operate is a community supported model. So in our model, we interact and engage with not only schools, but corporate groups and also community groups who have spaces that allow us to use for yoga. So our pandemic model, we look to create trauma-informed practices. So this means taking community instructors and matching them to schools and organizations that are looking for mindfulness support. This is just an example of our work at DRW College Prep that's in the North Lawndale area. This group of students you see here, they just got finished with basketball practice, and they come for an optional 35 minutes of yoga and noting, which is what we were working on 2 weeks ago. So as you can see, especially in the North Lawndale area, we focus on an optional program to understand from students like their willingness, their engagement, and those are things that we track, and funding helps us to track those. So that's our student program in North Lawndale. I'm also focused on time here. Let's see. All right. So for our funding goals, over the next 6 months, we're looking to crystallize our trauma-informed programming with hopes to bring on additional instructors to the program, and also later down the road, improve our training and feedback tools. So funding is very helpful with just keeping our programming going, and also receiving new instructors and just standardizing the type of instruction that's happening on a weekly basis in the schools. And as you can see below, just a note about our operating expenses from last year and how those contribute to our fundraising efforts as well. And then here, our impact so far in the past year, we've been able to impact 700 students in the North Lawndale and Southside Inglewood areas. and just a list below of the programs that we are currently in, and lots of growth from last year. And just a thank you as we close. We also offer a community yoga Sunday, first and third Sundays, where we invite the entire community to come and move with us. So thank you so much.
Great, and we will welcome the judges on. All right, and I think Elaine, this is yours to start off with.
Sure. Sarah, this is awesome. Definitely seems like you guys are doing something that has a huge impact in the community. I'm just curious, is this organized as a for-profit or a nonprofit currently?
We're a nonprofit, but it's kind of a hybrid model in that we organize bi-weekly events in order to fundraise for the nonprofit side. So we do yoga events in the city. We take those proceeds and pay teachers to be in schools.
Great, thanks.
Ezra, you want to go next?
Yeah, big fan of mindfulness. This is cool. I guess, I assume this is mostly, can you help me understand a little better? Is this in school? Is it extracurricular? And it's part of the vision to try to get this to be more integrated holistically, like in general, not be a separate program?
Absolutely, yeah. And the programming is different in each school just because it's so unique. So in some schools, it's an after-school program. At Parker and Inglewood, it is a part of PE. So with additional funding, it's just to be quite candid, the founder could probably do more founder things and sort of not be at programs. But today, it's just such a startup that I'm at most of the programs observing or just trying to understand what makes sense. But the good news is that we're a CPS vendor, so we're able to work side by side with CPS already. So thanks for that question.
All right, Mira.
Yeah, great. Thanks so much, Sarah. Curious, sort of the recurring nature of these programs is, do you envision that, these are programs that are sort of static or on point, or do you envision that, that these will be sort of recurring within schools or within sort of whatever setting makes sense?
Yeah, exactly. Definitely, we know that having like a predictable, consistent environment for yoga or mindfulness is helpful and is sustaining. So our goal is always to be, a weekly part of school. But we notice that a lot of the groups, especially coming back from COVID, there's a lot of virtual or in-person, different mixes and models. And so we're really lend ourselves to the community to ask them, how much capacity do you have to even have us? Because sometimes, extra things can be distractions. So the goal long-term is to shore up the training and just the modules, the onboarding of teachers, so that we become a consistent place in schools.
Great, and Jesus?
Awesome, thank you. Curious, similar to the last two questions, how you're thinking about scaling sustainably? Is it in terms of a certain specific nonprofit or school, or how do you think about expansion in terms of cities? How are you thinking about that?
Exactly. Yeah. First step is just crystallizing the playbook of what we're doing. So that just means having like a consistent, like week 1 to week 4, this is what's happening. Right now, we just have community instructors that just give their heart. So scaling is going to be increasing the quality of the work that we're currently doing in the programs. We grew super fast. When it started, we just wanted to give yoga to people in the park, and then the capabilities, the people, and the fundraising just came through. And so it's really developing itself to become self-sustaining. But keeping the lights on is just like my issue right now.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Sarah. It's great to hear about Woke Chicago, and we'll welcome our final competitor on. We have Angel Gomez joining us from The Only Group.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Looks like you're good to go.
Okay. The Only Group. First of all, thank you for the opportunity. The Only Group, specialized marketplace in the construction industry. Did you know that drywall was invented in 1916 and it took 25 years to replace plaster? It wasn't into the Second World War that drywall took off. The lack of manpower in the country due to the war made the drywall industry an easier way to build walls. 80 years of a forgotten industry. Yes, I get it. Drywall, not cool, not sexy, not fun. Who cares about drywall, right? Well, I do. My name is Angel Gomez, and I'm the founder of The Only Group. Let's go back to the problem and our solution. Getting estimates to fix drywall repairs are complicated to get and time-consuming. Finding a reliable drywall contractor that specializes in the drywall industry is a hassle. The problem for drywall contractor is that general marketplaces and drywall contractor, they just don't connect. Listing their services for customers to find them is a complex process. Let me share a little bit of my journey and the journey of many trades in the construction industry. This is a homeowner or general contractor trying to get an estimate. And this is the world of a drywall contractor, trying to find the time to make an appointment, running to the jobs, getting materials, finding time for the family, getting stuck in traffic, and creating the estimates for the next project so you can get cash flow. Many times, you're just so desperate to finish other jobs so you can get paid. By the end of the day, you're just so exhausted to send that estimate. Trust me, I have been there. Introducing onlydrywall.com, a specialized marketplace in the drywall industry. Our solution, a platform where customers can request a free drywall estimate in 3 simple steps. On the other side, a bilingual platform where drywall contractors can connect with those customers. A revenue model, quite simple. Free for general contractors and homeowners. And for the drywall contractors, $10 monthly subscription fee plus $5 to $30 per lead. We have a product in the market. The way it works, customers upload their pictures or video, confirm the location, and it's done. That's all that they have to do. On the other side, drywall contractors enter their account, buy the lead, and submit their estimate. Customer will receive up to 3 different quotes. The market size, the drywall industry is a $51 billion industry. Our addressable market size, $925 million just for Illinois. Our traction until today. Last time we pitched at TechRise, we had 830 drywall users with 750 drywall jobs. Today, we have 940 active drywall users with 972 drywall jobs. We have big competitors in the market, Thumbtack, Angie's List, and Home Advisor. But I would like to put more emphasis on our biggest advantage. Yes, we have general contractors, something they keep missing. Our vision, the Only Group holds more than 80 domains with the word only. Our goal will be to replicate the same concept to other trades, trying to dominate one industry at a time. Our next platform, onlypainters.com. It makes sense. We already have the drywall jobs. Most customers need painting services. Our team, Hector Lasso, with more than 20 years experience in marketing, Sam, with 25 years experience in software development, and Angel, with more than 21 years experience in the construction and drywall industry. Winning the prize today will help us a lot, I mean it, a lot, to keep generating middle-class jobs, keep scaling, and finding our customer acquisition costs. Our goal is to create bilingual marketplaces that will generate middle-class jobs to help and support our economy. We are the Only Group, and thank you for your time.
All right, judges, you can come on and ask a question. Ezra, you want to kick us off?
Sure. Angel, you made a point to say that you have the GCs better than anybody else. What about your workflows or tools make them want to spend more time on only contractors that are only drywall than Thumbtack, Angie's, etc.? What do you do best?
So basically, how we keep the general contractors like engaged with us?
Yeah, why do they spend more time with you than any of the other lead gen services?
Because usually they're looking for that specific trade, which is drywall. So general contractors, they don't usually go to the marketplaces like Thumbtack or Angie's List. They usually get their own network, but many times the problem is matching the time. So one of the things that all the customers have in common is that the timing, they need to get the job done fast. So their network, let's say that they're busy, so they cannot match with the time. So that's why they're constantly looking for very specific trades, and marketplaces is not an option for them.
All right, let's go to Mira.
Yeah, thanks so much, Angel. I'm curious to hear a bit more on the pricing, sort of what informed the $10 fee and sort of, yeah, what the thought process was there.
Sure. Thank you for asking. So we charge a $10 monthly subscription fee to the general contract, to the drywall contractors. So $5 to $30 depending on the job size. So for example, in the platform, we could have a $400 project or $40,000 project. So we charge more depending on the size of the project. And we allow only 3 contractors to buy the lead. So only 3 drywall contractors can buy the lead. So the general contractor or the homeowner, and then they have only 3 options to select.
All right, Jesus.
Yeah, curious in terms of climate change and things of that nature, in terms of drywall specific itself, curious, how is that market changing? Are there alternatives to drywall, or basically what is a long-term view of drywall itself as the construction industry continues to grow?
Thank you for asking. So yes, I've been kind of a little bit obsessed with recycling all the drywall scrap from a lot of different projects. So I have a small team that basically they collect all the scrap for the drywall so that we can recycle and return it to these places where they recycle. But yeah, I think that's a whole different business, obviously, and I don't have the expertise like 100%, but that's something that we are doing. So trying to recycle, but yeah, we're trying to do that.
Right, Ellie?
Yeah, so I have a question just about managing quality on the supply side. Are you guys doing anything to vet out the supply, or do you have reviews factored in so that people can kind of choose based on expertise or quality?
Sure, yeah, great question. So we allow the customers to review the service from that service provider. And because we are 100% focused in Chicago at the moment, we go to the jobs and I make sure that the job is done correctly, so the customer is happy. Customer service is a huge priority, so they can repeat their service, so they can come back with us. So for the general contractors, they don't have another option. They don't have Angie's List or Thumbtack. They have to come back to onlydrywall.com. So I constantly go to the jobs and make sure that the general contractors have a great experience with us.
All right, Angel, thank you so much. Great job. Judges, now you'll go off into your breakout room and make the tough decision on who's going to win $20,000 today. So we'll see you back soon. And I'm excited to welcome our friend Amelia Salter on to the stage. Excuse me. I just have a little bit of a cough. I'm going to try to hold it back. She's the Senior Director of Programs at the Chicagoland Chamber of Commerce. And over her career, Amelia has worked on collaborative projects with startups, nonprofits, government, and corporate partners in the US, India, and Australia. Prior to joining the team, she was the Assistant Director for Economic Development and Innovation at the University of Illinois System, where she developed initiatives to drive economic development and connect Illinois-based corporate, community, and university stakeholders. So it's so nice to have you here, Amelia.
Thank you, Desiree. Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you to the whole TechRise and P33 team for the opportunity to come and talk a little bit about what we're doing at the Chamber. I do have a presentation that has stuff. I'm going to see if I can screen share smoothly. I feel like I've been having a lot of tech issues this week, but
yeah, go for it. And maybe while you're pulling it up, you could just, I think a lot of people don't really know what a Chamber of Commerce does.
Yeah, I certainly didn't before I started working there fully, but so as Desiree mentioned, prior to the Chamber, I was with the University of Illinois System. I actually got to work closely with some of the folks like when P33 was spinning out, and was kind of part of the tech community, really helping to pipeline our students into various startups, connecting them with investors, each other, that type of thing. And so how I ended up at the Chamber just over 3 years ago, I My former boss that hired me at the university, he moved over to the chamber to launch kind of their programs department. And I really wanted the opportunity, as much as I love working with students, and I definitely still have moments where I really miss working with students and entrepreneurs directly. I really wanted to get that experience working directly with the business community and kind of understanding their needs and how we could craft programming that would address that. And so, as I mentioned, I've been there about 3 years. And in that time, we have stood up a lot of programming that is trying to bring together various members around shared challenges and opportunity areas. And so I'm going to go ahead and just there it is. Okay, perfect. Yay. Okay, great. And so the chamber is kind of structured in 3 different buckets, if you will. So we're really a nonprofit business association. We have about 1,000 members. We're industry and size agnostic. So within our membership, we have all of the Fortune 500s, many of which sit on our board. And then we have kind of your small businesses too. So we have a bakery, a construction company, and then everything in between. And we also touch hospitality, tech, healthcare, finance, insurance, manufacturing, all of the kind of big industries that drive the economy. And so where we kind of focus our 3 efforts are kind of networking. So we have a membership team that will get to know your business, and you actually get like assigned, we call them investment managers, but they're really member engagement managers. They really want to learn like what a company wants, right? And so they'll meet with you and they'll even try to figure out like, is the chamber like right for you, right? And so, and then we'll kind of get you in on some events, things like that. We also have an advocacy team, and Desiree, we should connect separately about this too, because we have a government relations team that's always kind of pushing policy and pro-business policies. They've done some tech work around like data centers and also BIPA. So a lot of stuff that impacts our tech-based members. And we're trying to develop right now a better feedback loop with the startup community to understand like what potential policy or regulatory challenges like might be facing startups, right? Or could be coming that
I think if you could get our tax rate down for startups, that would be not for the businesses, not so much the businesses, but the individuals running them. Maybe that would be a nice little perk. So
yeah,
feels like if we can offer this to Amazon, we should be able to offer it to the startup community. Just throwing that out there as one of the potentials.
Well, I know we went to bat on some property tax stuff because when it got shifted from residential to commercial, it was really a lot of small businesses that were kind of getting pummeled by the tax rate. And some of those were also tech-based companies. So definitely working on that for sure. And then the space I get to play in and how I was connected with Desiree initially is kind of the thought leadership kind of education content piece of the chamber. So really thinking through what our members want to connect with each other about. So if our networking and membership team is thinking about who could potentially do business together, I'm thinking about who should be talking to each other to make sure that they're learning from one another, potential partners, strategic growth, that type of thing. And so we really focus kind of in the networking, the business services, and the education piece. I wanted to touch on some different pieces that we have that probably could be of relevance. And I was like so blown away by the pitches today too. I feel so inspired. So I'm going to see about getting you guys like comp codes to stuff for some of the startups, because it might just be good to be able to come to some of our events once we go back to in person, which is like kind of starting, but
speaking of which, before you dive into the programs, can you tell us a little bit about like what's the sweet spot for companies to join? Like how far along should they be? Do they need to be revenue generating to get value? Like what's the great entry point?
Yeah, so I think it totally depends. So we do our membership levels based on what a company wants out of the chamber, not based on their size. So sometimes you join an organization and they're going, you have this many members, your revenues at this, you can only enter at this top tier level. We really get to know a company. We're like, what do you want? So something that where I've seen companies be able to really kind of get a lot out of the chamber. Ones that we have a few startups that have expanded to Chicago. So it's like a person of one that's like landed in Chicago to kind of like launch their market there. And so we'll kind of act as their ears and eyes to the ground, make sure they're connected to other groups that they should be connecting with and just making general intros. We obviously have a lot of the big companies, and why they're there is a lot of like to keep, again, their ears to the ground of like what's kind of happening to make sure they're shaping some of our strategic growth, and then just kind of general giving back to the community, brand awareness. Where startups can plug in, we actually have a small business development center. It's run by a woman named Stacey Pitts Caldwell, and they're doing a lot of great programming. A lot of it is free, and you don't have to be a member of the chamber to access it. So they'll do one-to-one mentorship that is ongoing. So it's part of a grant from the Small Business Administration. They also do a lot of workshops. I know they're doing something now with Shopify where they're doing like a 6-part series on kind of e-commerce and kind of like a boot camp. And I think that's free and kind of sponsored by Shopify. So that's a really cool program. We have a technology council. That's a group of business and tech leaders. I run that. We met last night, and we have startups in that group, and we have big tech companies, and we have tech folks from non-tech companies, all kind of thinking about how they can connect with each other, where they can get visibility, and kind of where they could partner. And I think a lot of our members, particularly on the tech side, they're looking to connect, right? Like they want to know whether they should be purchasing innovation and partnering with a startup, or just kind of what's going on and where they could be supportive. So that's, I think, definitely another group that would be of relevance as well. We also have like an emerging leaders group, which is young professionals. So we're really focused on building those like connections, and we'd like to do it pretty quickly. So when a company comes in, we'll get to know them, and they'll say, hey, I really want to connect with, I'm building an app for the banking industry. And we'll look and say, oh, we have great contacts at BMO or Chase or Bank of America. Maybe we could facilitate a connection or set up a lunch or something. And so that's, I think, where we probably is our sweet spot, but that's a great question.
Great.
I don't want to take up too much time. I know we're close, but I can talk a little bit more if there's any questions or.
I love going off script all the time as people know who watch this. So, and this is kind of a biggie, but it's something that, as founders were talking to each other about like what's going to make this city great. And there's so many things that we have going for us in Chicago. Like we have amazing programming. We have tons of great VCs here. We have like corporations that can buy from us. We are like the logistics capital of the world. Like there's so many things going for Chicago, but we have 2 things that are really going against us. And one, of course, is our tax rate, which we can't do anything about overnight, but potentially over time. And the other is crime. And I know that crime affects Main Street just as much as it affects, individuals in their homes. So I'm wondering like what you guys are doing as an org in terms of like facilitating those conversations about how can business play a role in changing that thing.
Yeah. That's actually a great question, and it's a pretty timely one. So in addition to the Technology Council, I manage a healthcare council. They run parallel, they're similar structure. That group met yesterday too for a quarterly meeting about kind of what we should be doing programming on, doing op-eds on, where we should be convening, and that came up. So one of our, a few of our members said, the gun violence and safety, it needs to be treated as a public health issue. And we need to be doing more to push and getting the business community rally behind that. We have had some meetings with between our board and the superintendent, police superintendent. We're always kind of at the mayor's office, but no, this is a huge issue, right? And it impacts all over. And something that our SBDC is really working on is like equitable growth as well. Like, if we can put resources into communities, like we should see that should help with crime as well. So I would say the public health piece, and then we're also going to be doing, I can't talk much about it because we haven't announced it, but we are trying to launch a bigger program next year that will kind of create a forum to intersect between the public and private sector to really have like these kind of tough conversations. And the ranking is public safety is like probably it's probably going to be public safety and climate change we tackle first.
I think we're going to come back soon, so I might have you go presentation mode off, but so to the point about equity and inclusion, not to put you guys on the spot, but like membership wise, how do your numbers break down? Are you guys representative of the city, or what's?
Yeah. So our membership in the 3 years I've been there, I've seen just anecdotally at like events, right, where it's gotten so much more diverse in terms of age, the types of companies coming in, because it's a snowball effect, right? So when a company comes in and it's a diverse founder and they have a great experience, they're like, oh, I'm going to tell others to kind of come. I think with our board, we're actually focused on diversifying our board more. Sometimes those are tough conversations because board companies come in. We're actually in, Ezra, I'd love to send it to you. So we just literally yesterday posted for a program director for diversity, equity, inclusion. that will work with the chamber, with our members, and spin out programming to really help kind of focus on a lot of the questions that you are raising. So I'd love to send that to you if you know anyone.
Great. So just real quick, the URL for people to get involved is chicagochamberland.org.
Yep.
Chicagolandchamber.org.
Yep. You can go to the chamber and feel free to share my email or find me on LinkedIn. It's Amelia Salter. And I would love to, get to know you guys more and see how we can get you, more involved. And it's a big part of the chamber wants to support startups, because as you guys grow, we want you to join our membership and be part of that. Right. And so we're happy to kind of help in these early stages. And again, I just want to say thank you guys for the platform and the time. I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for being here, Maria. Thank you. And it looks like the judges are back. So founders, come back on screen if you would, so we can announce the winner. And who's going to be actually announcing the winner today?
I think I am, Desiree, Elaine.
All right. Well, once we get everyone back on, it looks like we actually have everyone, I think. So yes, please do tell us who is the winner.
Well, first, thank you to everyone. You guys were all amazing. And so it was a good discussion on the judges' side for us to come to a conclusion. So the winner is, we're excited to say, it is Angel with The Only Group.
Wow, congrats.
Congratulations.
I don't know if are you muted, Angel? Can you say something, or are you too emotional?
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. It's been a long journey for me. This will help me a lot. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. I mean, this is a great way to finish the year. Thank you so much.
Well, wonderful job to all of our founders that came today. You guys, this is not one and done. You are welcome back onto the stage. And as you saw, this is Angel's second time and he won. And we're so happy for you, Angel. And to our VCs who are here today to help judge, we really appreciate you making the time and showing how important these founders are. So many thanks to you. Of course, always thank you to Verizon for helping make TechRise possible. And just can't wait to see those of you who can join us at the finale. So if you haven't gotten invited to the TechRise finale, please ping us over on any of our social channels, and we can send you over an invite. You can probably find it on Eventbrite too. But we will see you soon because the finale is $100,000 going to one of 6 companies, and it's going to be incredible. So thank you all again for being here. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.